Well, hello, welcome back to another episode of Trains Round. This week, as you may or may not have noticed, I am not at home. I am actually somewhere else, as you can see. So, that's why it's a bit of a different background. So, there you go. Let's get into the episode. And in today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the brand new refurbished cross-country Voyager that they have revealed this week as part of a £75 million investment into its upgrade. We're going to take a look at what they've done, how this is going to help them as well. Also this week, very big news, if you're wanting to become a train driver, 18-year-olds will soon be permitted to drive trains. That is what the government has revealed. And Northern has launched a brand new service to connect Leeds and Sheffield called the Yorkshire Flyer. We're going to look at all that and more in this week's episode. Because I am not at my usual spot at home, we're doing things digitally this week rather than normally where I'll have my paper in front of me. So there we go. Right, so the train operator CrossCountry has revealed the first of its refurbished Voyager trains as part of a £75 million investment to upgrade its fleet. Now, the company's trains, obviously, as you will probably know, carry passengers across the whole of the country from Scotland down to Cornwall. Now, it has previously, obviously, been criticised for lots of issues, mainly overcrowding. Last year, even introduced an additional 12 trains to its Voyager fleet to increase capacity on its network. Now, these refurbishments of its Voyager trains have been carried out by staff at the Derby Lichchurch Lane facility, where the new train was revealed on Tuesday. That was the 10th of February. Now, in total, there are 70 cross-country Voyager trains, originally built in 2000. The company says it aims to refurbish all of them within the next 2 years by improving the interior and exterior, adding brand new seating, creating more legroom and improving CCTV. In 2024, CrossCountry was severely criticised by the then Transport Secretary Louise Hay for its plan to cut services to offset backlog in driver training. At the time, the company acknowledged its poor service and apologised for the inconvenience. Really? There's people outside doing some work, so if you hear that noise, just ignore that. Yes, so at the time, the company acknowledged its poor service, and that's partly why they've gone ahead with these refurbishments. Now, from what I've seen, I personally think that these Voyagers look very good. However, the important question we have to ask ourselves is, do they still smell like literally? If you've never been on a cross-country train, they don't smell particularly nice. Let's just say, and it's not like, as you will know if you've been on one, the smells, they're not even just like around the toilets, it's literally throughout the whole train. That's just generally a very Voyager-y thing. But from the comments I've seen that seem to be very positive about them, I don't think that's too much of an issue. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully trying these refurbished cross-country Voyagers at some point. I do personally think they look quite nice, so yeah, let's see when they get into service. Next, if you are wanting to become a train driver, this is very good news for you, especially if you are a teenager or a school leaver. It has been announced this week by the government that 18-year-olds will soon be permitted to drive trains. and that is following concerns about the number of drivers approaching retirement. Now, legislation to lower the minimum age from 20 to 18 will be brought before Parliament this week. That is what the Department for Transport has announced, with the change due to come into effect from the 30th of June. Now, the move comes following fears over a potential upcoming driver shortfall, with a quarter of train drivers expected to reach their retirement age by 2030. Now, according to the Department for Transport, fewer than 1 in 25 drivers are under the age of 30, while only 1 in 9 train drivers are women. The proportion of drivers as well that have ethnic minority background is less than 13%, and the DFT says that the change will level the playing field across the transport sector. That's their words there. With 18-year-olds in Britain already allowed to drive tube trains and buses. It will bring the UK in line with other countries such as Switzerland, Germany and Australia, where 18-year-olds are permitted to drive trains. So there you go. If you are wanting to become a train driver, that will be very good news. And I wonder, will that come with like other roles as well? So like dispatchers and guards and you know, stuff like that. Will you be able to be a conductor at the age of 18? That's something very interesting that I would be interested in learning more about and seeing how that comes about. Or like a signaller, could it potentially we be seeing that where 18-year-olds could become signallers? Who knows? Right, this is my third time attempting this segment as the drills seem to be getting closer. So let me see if I can actually get this done before they come outside this window, because I don't know how far they're coming on. So anyway, basically we're going to Italy now, where suspected attacks on the northern Italy's rail network have led to severe disruption in the region as thousands gather for the start of the Winter Olympics, which I believe at the time of this being uploaded they should already have started, I think. Now, police reported 3 separate incidents involving damage to railway lines that they believe are connected to the games. The fire hit rail infrastructure between Bologna and Venice, triggering delays of up to 2.5 hours, with police later finding severed cables and explosive devices in locations nearby railway lines. The Ministry of Transport called the incidents an act of serious sabotage, which they believe were inspired by similar vandalism during the Paris Olympics back in 2024. Police said that a track switch was set on fire near Pesaro on the Adriatic coast. Several hours later, police discovered severed electric cables near Bologna, along with a rudimentary explosive device. The hell is a rudimentary explosive device? Left by a track nearby. Now, Bologna's rail station is a major transport hub linking cities in the north and south and east to west. So this has caused severe disruption, and at a very, very, very bad time, as thousands and thousands of people, like I say, have gathered for the Winter Olympics. So not very good, I'd probably imagine. Okay, and next, Northern has launched a brand new rail service that aims to connect the cities of Leeds and Sheffield in just 47 minutes. The Yorkshire Flyer, that is the name Northern have given to it, it launched at an event at Leeds Station, and Northern has said that it will add over 30,000 extra seats a week, accommodating the projected growth along the railway. Previous journeys between the two cities would take around an hour or longer, with trains calling at a number of stops en route. Now, this new service, meanwhile, makes only one stop at Wakefield Westgate, allowing journey times to be slashed by almost 15 minutes. The Yorkshire Flyer will run once per hour in both directions and operate alongside the hourly fast cross-country service that links Leeds and Sheffield. Northern will also continue to operate 4 stopping services per hour in both directions connecting the 2 cities. Now, next, plans to reconnect Oswestry. I'm not 100% sure. See, I mean, you thought I couldn't pronounce Italian places. I can't even pronounce English place names. Oswestry? 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 Do you know what? I'm going to say Oswestry for the simple reason, us English places, we like to have really random silent names. So I'm going to say Oswestry. But honestly, it could be anything, couldn't it? So plans to reconnect Oswestry, as I'm calling it, to the main rail line have been put on hold as funding from the cancelled High Speed 2 project has not been possible. Now, in an email to North Shropshire MP Helen Morgan, the Rail Minister, Peter Hendy, said that the proposal had not been backed up with necessary funds that it would have needed to reconnect the county's 3rd largest town. It would have been the first time in 60 years that the town had been connected to the main line, and the Department for Transport have said that it was a scheme that was announced by the previous government but was unfunded. Now, the North Shropshire town has been without a rail station since 1966, when the beaching cuts happened. Now, work had been done in recent years to try and reopen it, with it most recently being run as a tourist attraction. Now, local MPs have opposed what the Department for Transport and the Rail Minister have said, and they say, I quote, they are not going to let this be the end of the line. And finally, our final story of the day. A fire which broke out on a train in Elgin will not be investigated any further, it is being confirmed. At around 3:30 p.m. on Saturday, so that's the 7th of February, firefighters were called to the Ashgrove Road area of the town after the engine of a ScotRail train on the Aberdeen to Inverness line caught fire. Now, those on board were checked by paramedics, with one worker treated for smoke inhalation. All trains were cancelled on the line, with ScotRail arranging for tickets to be accepted on Stagecoach and North bus services at no extra cost. Services then resumed the next day on Sunday the 8th. Now, the Rail Accident Investigation Branch has confirmed that it had been made aware of the fire. Evidence was gathered as part of a preliminary examination of the incident to determine whether a full investigation should be launched. However, a spokesperson has now confirmed that it will not be looking into that fire any further. And just like that, that is going to do it for this episode of Trains Round. As always, I do really hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, give it a like. If you've not already subscribed, the button's just down there. It's free to do so. Make sure you do subscribe. And if you have any thoughts on any of the topics in this episode, leave them down below. Now, there's going to be no episode next week because I'm away that week, or at least for the first couple of days of that week. And then when I get back, I probably won't. I'll probably be too tired to do an episode, unless obviously there's anything major that comes up that needs reporting on urgently. Then I'll do an episode. But otherwise, I highly doubt there's going to be an episode next week. So we will be back the following week, and yeah. So I'll see you then. If you want to see more of my face, because I know it's very beautiful, then go subscribe to my channel, which is Reese Lucas, which is my name. I'll leave the link to that in the description down below. And yeah, and also the next episode where you see me, I should hopefully be back at my normal location, at my house. But for now, like I say, that's going to do it. Thanks for watching. Bye. That's what YouTubers do nowadays.